Let's talk truth about horses. Horses were actually never designed to be ridden the way that we ride them today. The indigenous peoples and the horses coexisted. The horses being partners and co-creators with the land. Their manure fertilized the land. Their chewing down the grasses prevented fires. Their moving through the forests prevented the closeness of the trees so that if a fire should break out, it would be mitigated quite easily and not burn incessantly for lack of allowing the animals to do what they do. The partnership between horse and human was a very deep, delicate, intimate relationship. It was not about buying and selling and thinking that anyone owned these animals. It was a deep, deep respect, knowing that these animals are our brothers and sisters who were put here equally by the Creator to live in coexistence with us as part of the entire hoop of life, not just as servants and slaves to man. Somewhere, this intimate relationship and soul-to-soul connection got completely bastardized and divided. Somewhere, we decided we knew better. We were more intelligent than the horse. We were who the horse should follow. We were the peoples that should enslave the horse to do our work for us. There has been so much miseducation and misunderstanding about the truth of who horse is as a nation, as a peoples, as a sovereign entity that the Creator created to provide this planet and its people with sacred wisdom. And when that line got divided, when we decided to use horse for our purpose, for work, for war, for pleasure, we never asked the horse, do we have permission to ride you? That is something very different as you go very, very far back into the indigenous cultures. You will see there was always an asking of permission. But we didn't ask permission. We took. We took, just like my mare shared with me the other day when I asked her about touching her. She said, if you touch me, if you take from me, you will keep taking. And she's right. She's absolutely right. So as I speak today on behalf of the Horse Nation, I don't try to fill your ego with platitudes about how wonderful you are because you keep your horse in a stall and how much money you spend on them and how much, you have body workers and other people coming to take care of your horse. I speak to you today because the horses of old lived along with the people, not isolated from them. They were allowed to graze. They were allowed to have their own families. They were allowed to do what they did naturally. And then they chose to be of service to the humans. Of service is not the same thing as slavery. And I don't care how well pampered your animal is. I don't care how much you paid for them, because quite honestly, I don't think horses sit there and say, well, I'm worth $1 million. And if they get enough sperm from me, which if you don't see the disgustingness and the rudeness and the arrogance of taking someone's sperm and inserting it in a female, and the scientific treachery of this, of not even knowing whether they would have naturally bred. If you take that away from them using your insane Dr. Island of Moreau methodology or thinking, you really have missed the point about pure creation. It is not for you to decide that you want that sperm from that horse to implant in your mare when you haven't even asked her if she wants to be pregnant. It's not your right to impregnate that mare if she doesn't even know what's happening to her. Then you get a baby and you sell her kid from her. You take her child as if she's just a womb carrier. And you, a lot of us as women, have an issue with that today, don't we? Right? We're just a womb carrier. Do you think that horse is any different from you? She's not. She is you. She's reflecting to you the damage and the insanity that has been caused to your brain, thinking that you have some kind of right over her. God may have given us dominion in terms of the Bible, but dominion is not domination. Dominion is more like stewardship and guardianship. And I can't tell you how many people, how many clients I have that come to me in the name of what they think is stewardship or guardianship or dominion, that have screwed up their animals completely because of this dangerous and disconnected way of thinking and being. I don't say this to criticize or condemn. I say this to wake us up to what the fuck are we doing with these animals? What are we doing with the arrogance of thinking, I bought a horse and I want it to do this and it should do, without even recognizing that is a conscious, sentient being. Did you even ask it? Him, her, them, if it was okay to get on their back? Do you even understand how to ask them if they have unrecognized pain somewhere that you could be causing more of and destroying their body for your pleasure? I think if we really look back at the indigenous cultures and how the horse volunteered itself to work with the people as opposed to being a slave, stalled up in a box, fed certain things that might not be right for it, having its teeth done with people that don't even know what the fuck they are doing, having its feet done by people that have philosophies that don't even understand the truth of the horse. By being with these animals that are totally telepathic and conscious and sentient and can share their truth with you, can also share their awareness of what you're going through as a soul, that maybe you're here to learn from them. If you contrast that to the animals that were out on the land, that were free, that got to drink clean water, that got to forage, that did not eat the same things every single day of their lives, that did not run around in circles over and over and over, or jump over things, or do these insane things that humans have pushed them to do, but that it's actually not even normal, because the horse wasn't designed to ride, especially not over and over and in constant repetitive things where you're trying to get better at your quote unquote craft by using this animal as an automaton, like a car. And you don't even take into account its consciousness or its brain. And then you call it stubborn, you call it foolish, you call it all of these things that are absolutely not even the truth. And the truth is that those things that you're calling your horse are probably more closer to a reflection of yourself. So I share this today because it is so deeply, deeply upsetting to my heart. The violation of their sacredness that we have been in. The taking and taking and taking and not understanding. And teaching our children to do the same. Buying and selling these beings that try their heart out for you. That get under different hands and everybody's doing things differently, and you're expecting this being who is just born to have a life of its own with its own family. You're expecting all of this from that being. You know, it is often said that the human species is the most intelligent. And from all my time around horses, and believe me, I am no saint because I have seen these things myself. I have done these things myself, but I have been doing my best to learn a different way, to be in a healthier relationship with horse. But I beg to differ that humans are the most intelligent species, and I learned that from horses.